Hello, world. Hello, Africa. Hello, Nigeria. It's amazing to be here again. And yes, this is the final session for the pre conference series for the much awaited biggest sexual education conference in Nigeria. That's the SPAC conference. And you're welcome here. We have in the house today an amazing personality. Um, Coach Abibo Berepele. One of the things I admire about him, he probably doesn't know. Okay, one of the things I admire about him is, his doggedness, the fact that he's consistent at what he does. I see him writing a book now, and before you know, he has published another one. I'm like, okay, that's challenging, and I must say I'm encouraged by what you do, sir, and I pray that God bless you. You're doing so much. You're doing so much, for teenagers, young adults, and here and there. I think the other time you traveled, where did you travel from for that Lagos conference? Sir? Was it Port Harcourt?
Yes, I came from Port Harcourt.
Wow, look at that! Just to attend one conference, that's amazing. Thank you so much for all you do. And
Thank
yeah, so apologies for my space, guys. I'm not in my office right now, but this must hold. So I'm just going to get off a face right now and allow Coach Abibo do the magic. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. Coach Abibo, you have the floor.
Good evening,
Please fire out.
everybody. Good evening,
Thank you, sir.
Dare. Yemi. Thank you very much for all you do. Dare is a super duper awesome guy, and I celebrate him so much. If you don't know, Dare is an exceptional human I love. I personally love him. His doggedness, his simplicity, his dexterity, his daring. He is, in fact, I can't explain so much. Thank you, Dare, for what you do and how you're transforming the world one step at a time. Good evening, welcome again to this special section, pre-conference section for the biggest sexual purity conference. My name is Abibo Berepele. I'm a boys mentor, a teens coach, a sexual purity mentor, and addiction recovery therapist. Let me start by saying I wish I was a virgin. Well, I'm a married man, happily married to my lovely wedded wife, fashion designer, artist, and music minister. And also, if you're jealous, please manage it. I am also a superstar in my brand of business. All right, so let's talk about the real talk today, and we're focused on male. Meanwhile, please, if you're a lady joining us, please type in the comment section, I value who I am. All right, so if you're a lady, please don't go away from the screen because we want to talk about the male because it's very important you pay attention to these things we want to say. Tonight, I'll be looking into two parts of our conversation. The first is about boys and sexuality, and the second is about sexual purity. So let me start with the first. Every boy is a unique gift from God, sent by God through the parents to transform generation positively. There is no boy that is a mistake. There is no mistaken boy. You see, a boy is not a female trapped in a male body. Never. God can never create a female in a male body. In fact, people that say things like this, that I am a female trapped in a male body, they do not even have sense that if God can create a female, trap her in a male body, and they are living on an earth that have not sunk, or a sky covering over them that had not fallen on their head, they should know that if God can hold the firmament of life by his own self and by his wisdom, how then can he make mistake with humanity? Knowing that all things were made for humans. All things were made for humans. So the first thing you need to know is the deception of humanity, it's because they lack sense of identity. Now, God is God. All the definition of God defines God as God. Whether he's Jehovah Shana, Shama, Shikenu, Adonai, Elohim, Rapha, he is God. Having said that, we should know from the beginning of creation that God created male and female, created he them. God did not create a female in a male body and a male in a female body. God did not create she male and he male. What he created was male and female from the beginning. And God blessed them, blessed male, blessed female, and said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, and fill the earth. So your sexuality as a male is that you are a male complete by God. You are unique. You are enough. There is nothing wrong with you being male. You are not a disadvantage. You are not less privileged. You are not less of a gender. When I see some of the people I know, oh, trying to transgender, they're saying, oh, I wish to be a girl. I say, your wishes are from the fall of humanity. Those wishes are product of sin nature, not grace nature. The nature of grace shows you who you are according to God's definition of you. And let me quickly say this. You can't define you except you find you in God. And the positioning of God is what makes you who you are. You are worthless without God. Your worth is only defined because of your relationship with Christ. So having said that, when you see people who are confused, gender confusion, it's because they lack a sense of identity. And there is no identity outside God. If God created all things, which he did, it means we can find our meaning and our gender in him. Outside of God, you can't find true gender. So any gender that is not defined by God's system is foolishness. And let me quickly say this to you. Some persons will say, oh, there's nothing wrong. Just choose your gender. I am sure you know that if you try to choose your gender, you will become who you're not supposed to be. Only thing is, you'll be earthly celebrated, but you'll be heavenly useless. In fact, responsible people will know your irresponsibility. So we must pay attention to the things. I wish I'll see my screen. I wish I'll see what they're typing. I wish someone could tell me, oh, I'm here and I'm getting the values I'm supposed to get. So hello, guys. You are a male. You are a king. You are a male. You have all it takes to be male. There's nothing wrong with you being male. Even if you have some level of female hormones, doesn't make you female. Excuse me, you are completely male. You are enough. So stop deceiving yourself. Don't let them deceive you. I know some communities who are now deceiving people, going around and say, if you don't feel okay being male, you can actually act like a female with a male body. Or if you don't feel okay being male, you can change. Hello? I used to ask the question, where in the scripture did you see a responsible person, a male, that followed God, who said, God had told me to be female, or God told me I am not male, I have to be female, or God created a miracle called transgender miracle? If there's none found in scriptures, yes, you say greater work can I do. Excuse me, that's not the greater work Jesus is talking about. Jesus is an example of who we are. And I believe I'm talking to you today so that you understand that male is male, female is female. Haven't talked about sexuality. So there are different kinds of gender. There are different kinds of sexuality. Excuse me. You are either male or female. That's the way God divined it. He said, look, it is not good for a man to be alone. I will make him a helpmate suitable for him. God did not say it is not good for transgender to be alone. He did not say it is not good for a male to be alone. I will give him another male suitable for him. So when God was talking about relationship, he brought male and female together. He did not bring a she-male and a he-male together. No, he brought a she-female and a he-male. And that's why relationship, romantic relationship, is about husband and wife. Let's talk about sex. You see, I keep saying this. Write this in the comment section if you can. Outside marriage, there's nothing called sex. You can't have sex outside marriage. Singles had never had sex. All they've had is fornication and adultery. Unmarried people can never have sex. Yes, because sex is instituted by God, and the institution for sex is marriage. Pornography does not know the truth about sex. Pornhub does not know the truth about sex. The confused gender media does not know the truth about sex. All right? All of these things do not know the truth about sex, because sex is a gift from God, and it's a gift from God to husband and his wife. So what is sex? I have a definition for sex that you need to understand. Sex is a godly romantic intimacy and experience between a male husband and his female wife. If you check that definition, first of all, it is godly romantic intimacy and experience between a male husband and his female wife. It means God designed us, and he gave us the ability to enjoy sex. But sex has a place. The place of sex is marriage. The age for sex is when you are a husband and your wife. Age of sex is marriage. Time for sex is marriage. So you are not qualified to have sexual experiences outside marriage. And if you're trying to have it outside marriage, it can never be sex. It can be fornication. So someone who is not married, who is kissing, is not having sexual experience. He's having fornicative experiences. Is having those who are married but they're having with those that are not married or another married person that's not their spouse, is having adulterous experiences. And God does not anoint. I keep saying this to people. See, God anoints you to enjoy sex. Satan empowers you to enjoy fornication. Satan makes you feel like fornication is sex. Meanwhile, he's giving you ability to be destroyed. I see. I wish I was a virgin before I got married. I keep saying I have a book titled "I Wish I Was a Virgin," because if we know the truth about virginity, if we know the truth about life, if we know the truth about sex, we would not get involved until we are married. And this one thing I say: when I'm having sex, I'm married. I'm married. When I'm having sex with my wife, God and angels teach me new skills and celebrate me. When I was fornicating, demons and Satan were the ones that were teaching me new skills, and they were luring me into destruction. Yes, yes, sex is good. Anybody that tells you sex is not good does not know God. Sex is good because it's created by God, and God saw that it was good. When Adam and Eve were having sex to produce their children, God saw it was good. Sex is sweet. Who told you sex is not sweet? What is not good is fornication and adultery. What is not good is pornography, masturbation. What is not good is lust. Sex is good as long as it is in the confines of God's instruction and system. There's a system for sex. The system for sex is marriage between a male husband and his female wife. Male husband and female wife, not female husband and female wife, or male husband and male wife. That's foolishness. All right? Forget this thing they are selling to us. And many people are buying it. I had an experience. Let me not go to that experience. Let me leave that for another time, any other time I have. You know, I wish someone was talking to me saying, "Oh, uh, can you hear me? Can anybody type in?" I wish I could see my screen, but that's fine. All right. So understand this: as a male, you have sexual urges. You will have sexual urges as you're growing up into puberty. You will have sexual urges. You know, there's a time I was asking God, why didn't you take away sexual urges from me? Now, sexual urges shows that you are alive and you have emotion. And it is your responsibility to control your sexual urges. You are not created with sexual urges to control you. You were created with sexual urges that you should control. So you put your sexual urge under suppression to your instruction, to your wisdom, to your purity, values, and identity. Some boys will ask me, why do I have sexual urge if God does not want me to start having sex early? I said, oh God, let's not go there. But the question is, if God does not want me to have sexual sex, why do I have sexual urge? I say, okay, it is like planting a seed and then it begins to bear forth fruit and the fruit is not ripe and you start plugging it. You won't enjoy it. Sometimes the fruit can even hurt you. That's the same way it is. If you can't control your sexual urge, then you are not qualified and mature to even get into marriage relationship. As boys, as men, we need to understand that we have libido. We have things that control, that are given to us to enjoy sex in marriage. So before we get married, we must know how to guide. You know, the Bible talks about guiding. The Bible talks about putting under subjection. You have the responsibility as a male to guide, to put under subjection, to control, to lead. This is one thing I used to say. You know, I don't used to hide it. I got to a point in my life where, you know, I was exposed to pornography very early in my life at the age of 7, got very strong at the age of 9, 14 years plus. I was into pornography for a very long time. led to masturbation, and all of that. And then I got sexually abused and I got angry with God. Then I started going to club. I got into prostitution, got into porn school to become a porn star, studied as a porn star. And then trying to become a porn star, I encountered God again. You know, but here's what I used to say. When people tell me I can't control myself, oh, it was the devil's work. I used to say this. I have experienced it. There's no way as a male your penis will leave your body, tear your knicker or your trouser, scatter your zip, and run out of your house and commit fornication and come back. There's no way. Fornication has to take permission from you before it happens. There's no way. I've never seen a boy who said, oh, my penis just came back to me after committing fornication. No. It starts from the mind. That's why the battlefield of sexual purity begins from the mind. If we must be pure, we must guard our mind. Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. He said, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you'll be able to prove what is that good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. Now, look at what the Bible also says. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down wrong imagination, and bringing every thought under subjection to the knowledge of Christ. So sexual purity starts from the mind. Sexual immorality starts from the mind. It is not the battlefield of the hand. It is not the battlefield of the penis. It is the battlefield of the mind. It is what you feed your mind with that your penis will respond to. Am I saying that you will not have feelings? You will have feelings. But if you feed your mind with negative things, your penis, your emotions will create an erection that will create a direction for your destiny. If you feed your mind with negative things, those thoughts will create an emotion that will create an erection that will create a direction for your life. But if you feed your mind with positive things, those thoughts will create an emotion that will control your erection and control the direction of your life. So you must be careful what you feed your mind with. It's a battlefield of the mind. It's a very powerful issue. So I have never seen anybody whose penis left his body and went to commit fornication or adultery and came back. Never in my life. So I told myself, when I was struggling with sexual immorality, I kept saying to myself, look, this is the truth. So one of the days, I remember the story. Let me share a story with you. One of the days, I had this strong sexual urge, and it was like, oh, if I don't fornicate today, I would not rest. I'm a believer. I was a believer then. People are having experience and they're hiding. So I told myself, I held my penis, I said, you, this penis, I will sit in this house, and I will sit on this bed, and I would hold my hands. I will watch how you will go anywhere on your own to commit fornication and come back. So I held myself. I sat on my bed, and the penis did not go anywhere. It was a battlefield of the mind. I had self-control. So I learned that it is me that empowers my attitude and actions to perform whatever it does as a male. Another thing I began to do was my eyes. When I saw in Job, he said he had made a covenant with God that his eyes would not behold iniquity. I used to call it iniquity. So I don't used to play with my eyes. I check what I check. In fact, I said, look at what you look at. Pay attention to what you pay attention to. Be careful what you see. For what you see can either impact your destiny or impair your destiny. Let me say that again so that you will understand what I'm saying. If you must succeed as a male, if you must stand out, if you must live sexually pure as a male, you must be careful with what you see. For what you see will either inspire your life for destiny or impair your life unto destruction. You must be careful. What am I looking at? What am I paying attention to? I'll talk about the 5 gates. As a male, you must understand the 5 gates of your life. Look, whether we like it or not, Satan will always attack you as a male. Does he attack female? Yes. But he has many tools he uses for male. Pornography is one of them. Masturbation is one of them. Strong sexual urge is one of them. Lust is one of them. It's called the battlefield of the mind. It's called the battlefield of the male. I have a book I'm working on. It's called The Battle for Sexual Purity. In that book, I shared my story and I brought three other stories of people who went through battles and struggles for sexual purity, both male and female. One of the stories that I had was one of my friends, a female who struggled with masturbation for years of her life, even as a Christian. I was telling somebody once, I said, if I say what I went through in pornography, some people don't believe because it was a tough one for me. But let me talk about the 5 gates because we're talking about sexual purity. Look, you cannot play with sin trying to enjoy righteous living. As a male, no, you cannot be playing with sin. You cannot be watching everything and try to be normal. You cannot be godly watching everything. Godliness is your ability to guide what you see and choose what you see. You are supposed to be seeing vision according to God's will, not seeing vision according to pornography. It's supposed to be the gospel according to God's will, not the gospel according to pornography. What's happening to you? You cannot just watch things. You must say, this is what I want to watch. You see, nobody outgrows sexual purity. Sexual purity is not for young boys. Let me say it again. Sexual purity is not for young boys. Sexual purity is not for young boys. I want to say this. Nobody outgrows sexual purity. Sexual purity is not for young boys. I hear some men say, oh, sexual purity is for young boys. Once I get married, I'll be sexually pure. Excuse me. If you cannot stand in sexual purity before you get married, you will stand in adultery after marriage. I used to say this to people. If you cannot fight fornication before marriage, you cannot fight adultery after marriage, because marriage outgrows you from fornication into adultery. A fornicator before marriage will become an adulterer or adulterer after marriage. So you must guide. Somebody told me once, he said, oh, after I get married, I will stop fornicating. After the person got married, it became 2 or 3 times worse than it has ever been. And let me quickly say this. We must understand that as Christians, your life is under serious attack. Satan knows that if you live sexually pure, you would fight for sexual purity and you would take people out of the kingdom of darkness. So he would do everything to lure you. He would do everything to seduce you. See, seduction is everywhere. There's media seduction. I used to say it is no longer social media, it's sexual media. Sexual media is becoming a new normal where people are almost nude and naked. Check on our streets, you see. Look, guys, you would see girls with breasts. What is breast that thou art mindful of? What is buttocks that thou art mindful of? You will see different set of breasts. And pornography deceives you to choose bigger breasts and smaller breasts, or smaller breasts and bigger breasts. Look, what porn does is it makes you feel like bigger breast women are better and bigger buttocks women are better. Then when you get involved in them, it now makes you feel like, oh, they are not good enough. You need the ones with small breasts and small buttocks. Pornography confuses your destiny. Pornography will confuse your future. Pornography will stop you from seeing the way God wants you to see and start seeing the way your emotions and feelings and the way Satan wants you to see. You must fight against it. So the first gate we must deal with is the eye gate. Guide your eyes with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. I have seen in scriptures how men of authority and wisdom, men who knew God, fell down because, not under the anointing, they fell down because of how they used their eyes. David is one of them. David is one of them. David was comfortable watching porn. Before you know it, he bought the porn to his house. Before you know it, he killed the owner of the person just to ensure he managed the porn. David was one of them. We have to guide our eyes. The next is guide your ears. You see, the kind of music, the kind of things we listen to, the kind of things people say affects and influences us. We must guide our ears. I don't have all the time again to share. The third is we must guide our mouth, what we say. The lies that men say. Don't be one of those men who will tell a lady, oh, ever since I met you, I've been through hell and I'm back. Why didn't you stay in hell? You are the treasure that I seek. You are close to me and I did not know. The love that I seek for many years, right beside me, yet I couldn't feel it. And she's not filling station, neither are you. Many men are just confusing women. And let me say this to you girls. Your value is not in relationship. It is better to be yourself and have sense than to get into a relationship without having vision. You do not have a responsibility to get into a relationship if you don't have personal vision and direction for your life. Lack of purpose had made many people get into a relationship, only then to realize that it was not a relationship. It was the relation boat, and the boat has sank. We must understand it. God directed vision, God directed purpose. You must have a clarity of purpose and vision. Don't just try to do life. Oh, I just love him. Oh, every time he talks to me, his voice is suckling. After sucking your mother's breast, you now remember suckling. We must be careful. What are we listening to? What are we saying? Boys will just say, they call you on phone, sweet words, and then he's like, I'm in love with you, baby. I can't do without you. I can't sleep without you. When he sleeps with you, that's when you know that he can sleep without you, because another time he will sleep with somebody else. He has been telling different persons, look, forget that thing. I was a playboy. I understand. I don't pretend. I was once a playboy. I was a church boy, but I was a playboy. Yes, I didn't do my in church, but then many girls fell in. Oh, boys have sweet mouth. Oh. Girls, listen. I can tell you for free. Many guys have sweet mouth because it's a church. Oh, he plays keyboard in church. Does not mean, excuse me. You must check it. You must check it. You must know what exactly is happening. Guys, guide your mouth. Don't just say things. Don't deceive girls. Look, let your words be filled with salt and grace. Let someone say, I met you and we spoke as friends. We were very good friends, but we did not have anything sexual. Yes, as a guy, guide your mouth. The next is for you to guide your hand. Excuse me. Your hand as a male is to help, not to hurt. Your hand as a male is to lift, not to bring down. Don't use your muscles to suppress or oppress a lady. It doesn't show your value. You're supposed to raise the dead. You're supposed to heal the sick. With that hand, you're supposed to help someone that is falling. So guide your hand. Your hand is not for masturbation. Your hand is not to search porn videos. Guide your hands. And the last thing I'll say is guide your feet. You cannot be going to the wrong place expecting the right set of persons. Yes, you can't go to the wrong place expecting the right set of persons. You can't. You can't be in the wrong environment expecting the right things to show up there. No, you can't. So you must guide against the things that will lead you into sexual immorality, lust, pornography, masturbation, and every other form of sexual activity outside marriage. All right, everybody, I'm sure you got value from tonight's section. I wish I was seeing what's happening on this thing. I check on your YouTube. I wish I could see what's happening on your YouTube. I could get feedbacks. Do I have anybody? Let me get questions. I want to get questions. I want to get responses. I want to get feedback and responses so I know exactly. So for those of you in Dare, Yemi Dare on YouTube. All right, for those of you that are on YouTube, please, I want to know. So I will be sure our section, if you have questions,